Oh, goddamn.
Daddy want.
I don't, daddy. I'd probably leave if a girl called me daddy. It's like, no, it's too weird.
You would leave because you already finished.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Puppy.
Yeah. I don't want to pay for anything extra.
Recording?
Yep.
We're all warmed up. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hype Attack Podcast, where we weigh in on the latest in nerd and pop culture hype. Double feature. I know, man. Don't get too hyped about it. In fact, don't get overhyped about it. Wow. That's right. We're gonna cover some stuff that are it's gonna be a little bit of like a shit parade, raining shit parade, whatever, however we want to phrase it. Where we're actually gonna dump on some stuff that we consider to be overhyped. So we'll get to that in a bit. With me, as always, is Doug, Jermaine, and Rudy.
Hey, what's going on?
And I am the forehead. I am Isaac.
Hi.
Before we get started, of course, let's go and actually go around the table and talk about the stuff we're regularly hyped about. Doug?
Oh, so I just watched...
What?
Surprise. Record every time. I'm just not used to being included in the conversation. I have to force my way in.
You know, at the end of every episode, he goes, "Hey, guys, thanks for including me in the conversation."
Yeah, exactly. As I tell everyone to keep it going, I'll also just thank you. No, so I watched a fan-made Star Trek movie yesterday on YouTube called Farragut Forward, and it was so fucking cool. I mean, very high quality. Rudy caught glimpses of it. Like,
Yeah, I walked by it and I was like, "What fucking new Star Trek shit are you watching?" Like in my head, and he's like, "It's a fan film." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Yeah, really, really well done. Shout out to those guys. I mean, I don't even want to complain about it, but my one complaint would be like the Klingons could have put a little bit of voice work in there. It was kind of jarring to see like full, well done Klingon makeup, amazing Klingon makeup. But then it was just like, hey guys, I don't have any honor. I was like, oh fuck,
Hey,
like a little growl in there.
You
a little...
guys fucking with the hyperdrive over here? And the Klingon, hey.
Yeah. There's no hyperdrives in Star Trek. So you see, in Star Trek, they use the warp field to move space. They don't move the ships through space. They move space around. Okay, anyway. Versus a hyperdrive, which actually puts you into a parallel universe that allows you to cut through space, but you're anyway,
Fucking deserve all of this.
I really did. Sweet Jesus, for have me attempt something.
Real quick, other thing I'm hyped about is I kickstarted another fucking board game, so we'll see when we get it. But there's a series of board games called Unmatched, which is really cool. It started off using what's the term for something that's in public domain? There it is. Started using public domain figures, characters to do like battles against each other, and it's a really easy and fun combat system. They've gone on to include more IPs from like Marvel and stuff like that. They've gone. It was competitive. They've released some cooperative adventure stuff, but they just launched a Kickstarter for a Ninja Turtle, the Teenage Mutant ones, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
gross adult ones,
cooperative. Unmatched adventure. I kickstarted it. Who knows when I'll get it 3 years from now when I forget about it and it's a present to myself. No, it should be relatively quick because it's a company that's a big company, so they usually knock that stuff out pretty quick. Anyway, I'm excited for it because we could play. Yeah, it's a Kickstarter. A lot of board games nowadays, even if they're coming from a bigger company, they still kickstart it because it's easier to get crowdfunding than convincing some investor that people want to buy your game.
True. Why do we kickstart shit, Rudy?
Because
You have to have an idea and then follow through on it.
Yeah. I'm happy now getting our friends to like a fucking reel we post.
Ask and answer.
I mean,
Yeah, awesome. If all 7 people that like today's reel can donate like
$300
each.
We can have a fucking
you make
studio.
fun, but
Yeah. We can fund a month's worth of booze. Anyway.
That's not a bad idea. You shit on it. Jermaine, what the hell have you been hyped about lately?
Nothing. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually
Kind of slim pickings out there.
Yeah.
watching a show. There's some if you find it. Don't follow the hype stuff. Follow stuff that's not in mainstream, but
follow the hype stuff.
Yeah.
follow us. But have you guys heard of a show called From?
Yeah, with the guy that was in Lost.
He was in Lost.
What's his name?
He
I
was
know.
in
I'm
the
sorry.
Matrix.
Lost from.
He was in the Matrix. He was in
Really good show.
Romeo and Juliet with
Mercutio.
Henry or Harry.
Harold.
Harold. Pure now.
However you pronounce
Yes.
his name. A plague on your houses.
Yes.
But
A plague
So-
on both your houses.
it's on. Dare I say
Amazon.
MGM Plus.
Oh, yeah.
So
MGM Plus.
Yeah.
I think Amazon Prime had it for like a little while, but they just recently booted it off. But it's a series. If you guys liked the beginning of The Walking Dead, like how that kind of story just kind of like gripped you, especially for people who kind of never really got into like a zombie, ish type story. But this is something totally different than The Walking Dead. It is a town where you have these people reside, but they're living there now because they can't escape. And anytime somebody new comes in, they always come into town, and the townspeople are like, oh shit.
Another one.
So but they kind of let them figure it out because you can't escape this town.
Right.
So they tell them, drive up this road, and they keep driving, and it just circles and circles and circles.
Now, Jermaine, I
they all
ask you,
giggle at him?
that sounds very lovely, but surely there's not any threats in that town, is there?
Oh no, there's all kind of threats. So it's just one of those shows that you're watching, and it just grabs you because you're with the people who've been in the town, so they know what's going on, and then you have all the people that's new who trying to figure out like what the hell is going on. Like, no, you guys are lying, and then the people that think, oh no, we can get out of here.
Until their first night.
It's not even that. It's don't try to direct me. the hell is this guy doing?
Speaking of which, pull your mic closer.
Come on now. But it's just a good show. Like it is gripping, but they have these what I like about it, it is like mysterious, but there's also these things that reside and only come out at nighttime. Ooh. But if you have like I don't know what they call it, because I'm only like three or four episodes in, but it's like a rune or something like that you have to hang in your house, and they can't come in. But as the story goes on, you're getting more clues to kind of like you're trying to figure out what's going on, because the way how I'm looking at it is you're taking the stance of the people who just got there. So you're looking at it this way. You're like, well, how the hell is any of this even possible? How did you guys all come to be? And how is this one road that drives straight a loop? And they're all just trying to figure it out. But there's people in there that's like, no, there has to be a way out of here. And nobody knows how this thing even started or whatnot. They just know these little basic rules that they know. And I'm just pretty much right there right now. But it's very, very interesting. Like, it's a good show.
It's not Korean?
No, hell no. Not this one.
That actually sounds really, really good.
It is good.
I'm very interested in it. I wrote it down on my little note here with a right that says watch this.
I think if you have Amazon, or I believe it's Amazon, you can get like a free 7-day trial.
Yeah.
So you can kind of consume as much as you
I
can.
binge the first season.
MGM
Yeah.
Thanks
Plus,
to it.
like when did that shit?
Yeah, you get Wizard of
I
Oz
know.
and then one other show
I know.
apparently from.
What's it? Prep for Wicked, of course.
But yeah, but it's a really good show. Like, I recommend, like, if you guys, yes, I said like The Walking Dead, but it's a little bit more than that. Like I said, it's more mysterious and kind of these people are just in this town and they're trying to survive, by any means necessary with these things that come out at night.
I concur, and I've seen the first season. If you're a fan of Lost, and like that's what makes it work is Harold is in it. I can't pronounce his last name, but it's he was Mike in Lost, or was he Walt? I don't remember. But it has that very I know you're comparing it to The Walking Dead, but also it's very very Lost-ish.
Yeah.
Because of
it has those elements in there.
Yeah, those supernatural things you can't explain. But thankfully, compared to Lost, they actually fucking answer some stuff. Spoiler, slightish alert. So you'll enjoy the rest of that show.
Yeah, it's a really, really good series. Like I like those type of shows shows in general where it's not like a star-studded cast.
Yeah.
It's just people that you you get to know, and then therefore you're interested because you're following these stories with these characters, and it just makes it kind of gripping.
And it's creepy.
Yes, it has the
It's so creepy.
It's perfect.
the creepiness.
Season.
Creepy. I was interested in, and you said creepy. I'm like, yeah, it's
No,
my-
but it's not
It's not my
like-
thing.
It's not gory.
No, it's not. It's not one of those type of shows. Like it's not like the traditional horror story.
More like a suspense kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not like a Ryan Murphy show or nothing.
Suspense, supernatural.
Yeah, like
type.
suspense, supernatural. But like I said, it's a little bit of like a gripping thriller with that kind of like dark edge to it. But it's not like kind of like horror story esque.
Cool.
It's just a good story.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Ready?
Speaking of shows, I'm fully on board the superhero spinoffs that are currently playing out. Penguin and Agatha all along. I'm liking the world building that the Penguin's doing with Gotham and its underworld, how the Penguin rises to power, and with Agatha, I kind of finding like I'm able to turn my brain off and just enjoy the silliness of it, as opposed to try to like immediately Tetris it into the wider universe and see like what this is going to affect and what other stories it's going to tell. Like, it's just a dumb funny show about witches so far.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to have its
Agree.
moments. So that's it for me.
Penguin, I'm really impressed with. And I do have to remind myself that we're in that world that's still like Batman year 2. So he's not that big, influential character in Gotham. Because part of me is just constantly like, shouldn't they all be worried about Batman? But they're not at this point. They're definitely worried about the two crime families. And obviously we're focusing on Penguin and his rise. And I love... The Penguin in the comics has always been really, really interesting. And so far this show's like showing it too about how vulnerable he is. And I'm sure we'll do at the end of the series, I'm sure we'll do an episode on it. But I love the fact that he's like this powerful villain, not quite yet in this show, but we know he's eventually going to be this powerful villain. But we see him as really like this vulnerable character. But because he's so smart and knows how to adapt, he survives.
It's all thanks to his mama.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the phone, just so the first couple of episodes, is just watching him like on his feet, like immediately, like something like comes his way that completely out of left field that he wasn't like prepared for, and just I knew about that all along. Like that was my plan. But now you in on the plan. Let's go. Like that shit is fun.
But someone who really shines in that is the Falcone's daughter.
Sophia.
Played by Christine Milani.
I think it's Milioti. She's from How I Met Your Mother. She was the mother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Great. Her performance is great in that.
In How I Met Your Mother.
I fell in love with her in that show.
I didn't get enough of her to be like, oh, she's a good actress. I thought she was like cute for the series.
That was the first time I heard La Vie en Rose.
Oh, really?
And she sang, and I was like, oh, stop it.
But in this, like, she's really shining.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
My only problem with these fucking two shows is what's up with the whole like mentor thing. I don't know.
With Vic?
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, the Penguin.
I don't know why it
told
hurts
the
me.
story to Vic about how like he was offered that job as a driver to some other pinchy or whatever, and then he took it.
No, I know. I just literally both of the shows are like, let's do the mentor thing, and for whatever reason, it annoys me when it's like that type of mentor that goes, or the what the hell's the opposite of a mentor? Mentee.
Yeah.
Where they're like, and why, and what's that, and what's this? Like, is it like a device to like explain some of the plot or whatever?
Yeah,
to
I mean,
people in?
I think it works. I think it works for that. I think for Penguin specifically, I mean, the guy's kind of a cripple, so having a guy that can do the running around and drive,
Yeah, I know,
like
for sure.
I think that helps. I think, but yeah, it's just kind of fun, a good way to humanize.
It was just like an unnatural little like thing with me, and I go, oh, mentor thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it works more in the Penguin because
It does.
you're in the mafia. You have to have a crew.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he has like a close knit like core. Like there's just people that works for the
yeah.
family. So like maybe this is like, oh, let me build my own like inner circle because he can't do it all by himself. He's gonna need his crew.
Yeah.
With Agatha, it is a little bit more like, oh, what's
Why?
this?
What's
and like,
this?
here's the exposition. As we explained it to you, we're explaining it to the audience.
And then in the end, they work together. It's a weird little.
No, I get it.
The thing I've been hyped about lately, I started watching the latest season to Umbrella Academy. Everybody remember the Umbrella Academy?
I graduated.
Oh yeah, I finished it.
I tried to
fourth
watch
season?
it a few times.
Yeah, I watched everything. Like I watch it when it comes out. No,
The third season like really threw me off, and I started. I didn't know that the fourth season was out. Started watching it lately. I'm like halfway through it, and I was like, you know what? I remember why I liked it. But they still struggle here and there, where it's like, no, you have to have some characters kind of like going off and doing thing, and it's a very supreme idea.
no, it's not a perfect
No,
story, but
Yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I like.
it does its job.
Yeah, what they do with the characters, and Klaus is still fucking great. But I've been enjoying it. So whoever fell off of Umbrella Academy, season 4, might bring you back in. They are kind of like fucking with not multiversal stuff, but like branch timeline things. So the way they treat time travel is interesting. But that's not about Umbrella Academy.
They've been doing that since like the beginning, right? Isn't that one of the characters, one of the kids,
Yeah,
like things?
5.
I watched like 3 episodes, so
5 was able to time travel. Like the whole thing was him time traveling,
Yeah.
but they didn't start to fuck with like branched timelines.
Okay.
And so like how they deal with that, Nick Offerman's in it, and how they deal with that. There's a group who's like, no, the Mandela. Basically, they don't call it the Mandela effect, but they call it the umbrella effect of like, look at these artifacts. This is the the Berenstein and Berenstein or whatever the fuck the thing.
okay,
So
cool.
they play with that idea, a couple of other things, but. I'm back on board. I've been actually enjoying it again.
I'll have to watch it because I know we were talking about doing an episode on those not DC Marvel superheroes and
Non-brand
so-
soups.
Yeah, so that's certainly that would fall within that category.
Yeah, and they do have unique powers, so to say.
Speaking of non-brand soups, just a little
Gotta have my Campbell's.
Tomato basil.
nerd news.
Sausage potato.
But the what is it? The public domain to superheroes
the word superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, the title
for
itself.
the word superhero. So now
Marvel and DC lost
DC
the
had a
lawsuit.
lock on it.
Both of them had a lock.
Really?
On
Yeah,
it.
they had
Yeah.
a lock on it. So
Whoa.
that's why you have
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
shows like The Boys who have to call them like soups or something else.
Are you fucking
Cakes.
serious? Like,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
And mutants.
They
That's
had
fucking
to,
nuts.
all other shows that were kind of having characters like superheroes had to use like a different name, like supers or
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they lost it.
like
'Cause
even the
that's
Incredibles.
dumb.
Like even the Incredible. Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
'cause
they
at the
called them
time it was
capes
Disney was
or no,
at the
not
time.
capes, but
Wait, so who has it now?
I think it's just public.
Public domain
It's
now.
free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's free for all.
Dobby is free elf.
any of those things that like are kind of stupid, and I appreciate the freedom and stuff like that, but I do understand DC Marvel back in the day when they were trying to establish essentially the superhero business. I could understand them wanting not wanting people to turn superheroes into something not family friendly or hate filled or anything like that, and just tarnishing that whole idea. Now literally 100 years later, I think the superhero world is established for what it is.
the
And
association
they
is there.
themselves have even darkened up the name and added the whole anti-hero and vigilante kind of thing. So, I mean, I guess it's always been vigilantes.
It will be interesting though in the far future when a lot of these characters go into public domain because we're going to see how
Oh, yeah. I mean, we saw how quickly Winnie the Pooh and Steamboat.
Steamboat Willie.
Willie-
Piglet.
Yeah, I mean-
I still haven't seen Blood and Honey.
Yeah, as soon as Superman enters the public domain,
what is
there's-
it
it's-
2030 or 2035?
Yeah, if they can't,
Like it's pretty soon.
yeah, and it'll be
Yeah, it's
like the
close.
first version or whatever,
Yeah,
but it will
yeah,
still
yeah.
we'll still see that like old school S and the weird arrowhead instead of
Up
the
and away.
and he'll blasting people with his laser eyes
Isn't
and
there-
his jizz.
Isn't there? Isn't there a way to extend that though?
They've been, I mean,
No, they're trying
Disney
to.
extended Mickey for a long time, and their argument, and again, I think it's a legitimate argument, is like it's still the face of their company. So I think DC would especially DC with Superman, and like that'd be the big one where it's like he still represents the company and like the idea of like someone else, another comic book industry to be able to just. I mean, theoretically, Marvel
No, he
could
doesn't, because Batman got a star before Superman.
Yeah.
So and a
mean,
damn statue.
yeah.
I mean,
But like Marvel could
Blasphemy.
theoretically put Superman in like the Marvel universe
Hell yeah.
and make him just like a big dumb like I never put it on Superman.
I wanted him and Homelander to go at
I
it.
never knew I wanted to do so much until you fucking said that.
I wanted the boys to wrap up with Superman jumping and finally just
Yeah.
fucking annihilating him.
And the two companies have done it before where they take like a group. I mean, I think Marvel has a group that is basically the Justice League. They don't use them a lot, but I forget their name. Every once in a while I'll get the headline of like, oh, Marvel's Justice League, and I look and it's like very similar. And I think and DC's done the same thing. They've had groups that are very similar to the Fantastic Four, and like they've I think they even did a whole thing where they introduced like a character Sideways, which was very much a Spider-Man. Like he wasn't shooting webs and stuff like that, but it was very much kind of a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
They introduced the Terrifics, which was very much the Fantastic Four. Like they've done these kind of things, but theoretically in the future they'll be able to literally put Superman in.
Nothing beats the Venture Brothers where they had their version of Fantastic Four. And like the Human Torch, he would combust and he would just or the Invisible Girl couldn't make herself. Did I scream it red?
No,
I saw the color changes. Like what happened?
It's an
it's them fudging with the other one. I think the remotes are just crossed.
oh shit.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and turn that off. Yeah, it's fine.
And then they had like the Invisible Girl, but she could only make her skin go invisible.
Oh, nice.
And instead of
It's totally useful.
the thing, it was like the human callus or something like that. Yeah. And then Mr. Fantastic, he had the stretchy abilities, but I don't forget what his character's name was. But then,
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah,
Venture Brothers. God damn, I got to rewatch that shit. That's so good. But the second thing is that I'm hyped about. I checked out this movie called The Substance, starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and then Dennis Quaid happens to be in it.
I've seen a lot of hype for that.
And rightfully so. There's no overhype for it. It's a fucking weird movie.
I think I need a little Demi less.
Oh no, there's very Demi Moore in that movie.
What about Demi Glaze?
Oh, I Demi glazed the seat in front of me. Dear Lord. What? You're not interested in seeing it?
The fucking pun.
Oh, because you didn't get to them first?
He's about to go meet some demigods.
See you guys next time.
So many scenes I didn't have a Demi, but I had a Semi. Hey. God, that director really loved nudity, loved butts. Like, there's certain scenes. He runs to go see it. There are so many scenes where it's like the way it's shot was really cool. I mean, like I don't know what the budget was. I could probably look it up, but who fucking cares? It felt like lower budget, and they spent it on like not the visual effects because they had very minimal CG, but like as practical. It was like a body horror movie, and I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but like the makeup looked really good. And it like this, not to sound nerdy, but like this sound design made those gross moments even more gross. And like it progressed in such a way that you're like, yeah, I'm on board. I feel bad for this, failed actress or whatever. She's old now, and
Gross.
and then takes the substance to become younger, and then like nonsense and horror ensues in such like a unique and interesting way. I think you might enjoy it. I don't know if you'll like it, but ultimately, in the very end, they kind of sort of jumped the shark, and I won't say anything about it. But like, it was everyone in the theaters like 'cause throughout the whole movie, you're going like, oh, ooh, ah, ee, and then that part happened. You go, what? They really do? Yeah, right. We're watching this, right? It's fucking weird for like 5 minutes of nonsense. So it was a weird way to end the movie, but like. I had a fuck ton of fun with it. I actually really, really liked that movie. Cool. And if you like gross body horror shit starring Demi Moore, semi-nude, or actually fully nude, then hey, check that movie out. And yeah, I had no way to stick that landing about that review, but check the movie out.
Nice. Yeah. I think I will.
But that's rightfully hyped. Now let's get into our main discussion of overly hyped stuff. How do you want to break this down?
So I was looking at stuff up. I'm like, do I go by universally panned stuff that was like built up, or stuff that personally I thought
A
Personally.
little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, however you want to take it.
So
Lead us down this
I
road.
did I did the first one. Like I just like universally pan because my opinion is my opinion, and just like when we first thought of this topic, when we first thought of this topic, I went to Google and did a quick search, and the first list was someone like shitting on like universally loved movies.
Oh yeah.
Like Shawshank Redemption was
Oh my
overhyped,
God,
and
that list
The
was just
Matrix
meant to
was
piss us
overhyped.
off.
Yeah, that was a 12-year-old that learned how to type.
so let me throw one out there into the ring.
Okay.
Even though now I do have a lot of appreciation for the movie, Waterworld, when it first came out, was a big stinking turd at the box office. And not a lot of people liked it.
And there was a lot of hype for it.
And there was
There was
super
a
hype
lot of
for
hype
it.
for that.
Like around the budget and what the sets they were building.
And that was pre-internet, and I remember there was a lot of hype for it.
So the way I'm thinking about this topic is
You're wrong.
are things that like everyone's saying that they really love, but I'm not saying that they're end up being shitty. Some of these things that end up actually being I consider shitty in my opinion. But like, quick example, right? Longlegs was like majorly hyped, the best fucking horror film of the year. It's so amazing, and Nicolas Cage was fantastic. And I watched the movie and go, it was cool, but it wasn't like, oh my fucking God, it was
But
mid.
that's what they have
Yeah,
to do.
and
You know what
not
I'm
to
saying?
go too
They
far
have
off of
to
Waterworld
project
because
it.
I do want to
Right,
talk
right,
about
right,
Waterworld.
right, yeah.
But I would
Yeah,
say every fucking horror movie right now is overhyped. Every horror movie, they get the first 2 Rotten Tomato reviews, which are 100%. And that's what they run with. 100% Rotten Tomato horror movie. They do
Okay.
a couple interviews. They do a couple night vision, people's reactions to the things. And every horror movie right now is putting out that same level of hype.
Except for the substance.
Longlegs did get a little bit more, but probably
Yeah.
just because they had a bigger marketing budget. But they're
You see
all
those
about
ads
the
all the
same.
time. You see those ads.
Skinamarink.
Horror movies are gonna do that. It's just one of those things, like he said, they just add all that nonsense to it, and then when you go watch it, you're like,
But my point is,
It
like,
might be the
the
scariest
way I'm
thing ever for,
attacking
like,
this
a film
topic
girl.
is like it doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's shit, but that it can just be mid as
yeah,
well.
it's just overhyped.
So like Waterworld being one where
L's
like
and
I
mids.
think it's
L's and mids here.
like it's like if they overhyped it back in the day, I
They-
think it's still
Oh,
cool.
no, I
So
think
they
fucking
totally
super
overhyped it.
overhyped
And I remember
Waterworld.
seeing it and I remember thinking like, this is a completely serviceable movie.
Mid.
But it wasn't the fucking next, coming of
No.
of fucking Star Wars or another Lawrence of Arabia. Like it wasn't a big epic thing.
But would you see Waterworld 2 if it were to have come out?
Yes, I think it's aged very well.
More
think so.
water.
Like
Yeah.
like I'll see
In
it.
a world
I'll
of
see it
water.
randomly, like scrolling YouTube. There'll be a clip of it. I'll watch
Avatar.
it.
Yeah.
Like anywhere it's on, and be like, oh, I remember. Oh, I was like, fucking Universal Studios, the Waterworld stunt show that they still do. I still
so
get in line to go
love
see
that.
that.
Hell
my
yeah.
God.
That's so cool. There's
is
like
so
a
fun.
plane and some fire and water and shit. Yeah.
Shit, I have
All
better
of-
special effects in the fucking movie.
Yeah, it is funny. I didn't even think about that movie for this topic, but so true. Because I remember everyone in my life was just like, like after it came out, like
That was a
everyone
movie.
was so excited for it, waited in line, to get the good seats because that's what you had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, okay, that was a movie.
No, it was like that for me. Like when I watched it, I was like,
Exactly. It's like,
yeah, that's the thing that just happened before my eyes.
sure.
But I would say
the
certainly
One Punch
there's still,
Man. Okay. Like
that was one though where at least like the hype died with it. Like there's not people out there still
You
gassing.
do have
Is
a
that the
cult
term?
around
Gassing
that
this
thing.
up.
Like you do have
You're cool.
a cult around that movie though, but
I'm so fucking.
it's not one of those grandiose
Riz.
epic movies. But yeah, that was a good one because I do remember, dare I say, Independence Day hype level for that damn movie because I remember Independence Day. That shit held up to the hype, but for Waterworld,
Well,
Not so
Waterworld
much.
was certainly. I don't know if it was. I can't remember exactly when it came out in relation to everything, but that was certainly back in the day when there was like that summer blockbuster that was just like,
Exactly.
this is what's gonna get people to the movies. This is everything, and usually those ended up being pretty good. And then there's those where it's just like, oh, okay.
shit, I wonder how much the budget was because
that shit.
Oh, in today's money
there's a
too.
lot of water in that movie.
It was already a big budget movie, and I think they were filming it in Hawaii. and a storm came through and like wrecked like most of the set, so they had to rebuild it because they're still in the middle of filming. So that drove the budget up more, and that was like a big thing.
So that's probably why.
You think if they knew the storm was coming, they would have built like a normal set that looked nice and then let the storm destroy it, and then they would have got the
Get that
natural
weathering.
Yeah, get that natural weathering.
Oh, 175 million.
Back then,
back in the day?
I mean, yeah, back then.
what is that? $3.5 trillion now.
$1 trillion.
Oh, shit.
So
Wow.
I do have one that's big because I know a lot of people consider one movie hyper than the other, over the other, and it is the Nolan Batman franchise. I do say The Dark Knight.
What?
Well, this
Dark
is
Knight
the
for
last
me.
episode of the Hype Attack podcast where
Yeah.
Jermaine
The
really
Dark
pissed
Knight
me
for
off.
me.
The Dark Knight?
Yeah, boy.
Overhyped?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Like the whole thing, or
You're
just
mistaking
so
my
good.
words. So, as in,
the topic is overhyped?
no,
Let him
But I'm
finish.
saying-
You know what? Let him finish. Let
I
him
feel that it's a overhyped
get it on
movie.
mic. Get it on mic.
I still think Batman Begins, to me, is a better movie
Then
than The Dark Knight.
so
Like, I feel
the second one, then, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
the one with the Joker.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was a good movie, but I just felt like the hype around that. I was like, minute. The first one for me, it had a better like plot, better kind of villain reveal. Like I know we got the Joker card at the end and all that stuff, so we knew Heath Ledger was going to be in there, and he knocked that style of Joker out of the park, like phenomenal. But for me, it's
I'm about to fork you
Oh no,
up.
I don't care what you guys say.
I'm so ready to assign a Malort shot right now. A Dorito.
That's
The
Malort.
hottest of hot takes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is what I'm saying. For me, this is what this episode is about. Like, it is the controversy. So because
That's where friendships die.
when I look at the scenes, hey, I don't care. I said.
Yeah.
On camera. But when you look at the scenes, for me, this is what I'm just saying.
Okay.
When you look at the scenes in Batman Begins, like the training session when he was in there with the ninjas, and he was just like moving, and you know, like they were like he was trying to find them, and you know, it was just the little intricacies to that movie. The whole time you're looking at Ra's al Ghul, like, why isn't Liam Neeson fucking Ra's al Ghul? And then he is fucking Ra's al Ghul. Those were the little elements for me that just made it interesting. Then I know we got the Jack Nicholson Joker. I'm not saying like, oh my God, we got another Joker movie. But it's one of those things that you kind of get, you know, kind of like what the movie was in a sense going to be like, because you have a Joker in there. But just to see the way the story was told in the first one, to me, that level of storytelling was like the
For the record.
Batman
sorry.
Begins.
For the record. So are you saying compared to the first and second one? Just overall.
Compared to what?
Like the
The second one compared to the first one.
yeah. That's what we're talking about
It's
here?
more overhyped.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's just what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's the love for the second one.
I'm still gonna stop
more
my
than-
foot
add
with
to
this.
this.
Oh, I don't care.
So one, Rudy's gonna just beep that whole thing. No, I'm joking. So I in a way I agree, because Batman Begins, one, intro movies for a superhero I think are always going to be more interesting than a follow up, because you're showing the training, you're showing the reason why. It's always going to be a much more interesting character development, unless you spend the sequel following the villain more, which is kind of what they did. Second, Batman Begins, Gotham was a much more fantastical world. There was the crazy subways. It felt like a comic book world where the Dark Knight was just fucking Chicago or wherever it was, right? It was just a city.
Yeah.
So I in a way I agree. I think a lot of the hype was because of Heath Ledger's Joker. I think it was because of that, like, oh my God, the guy from first night, last night. What was his night movie?
I think it's last night.
And then the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, he's gonna be the Joker. So
And then Brokeback Mountain. And
yeah.
it was like,
So there was all that like ready to shit on it, and then he knocks it out of the park. So there was all that extra hype, and then of course he died, which was super sad. So there was all that extra hype. I think it was a great sequel, which is rare. But in many ways,
yeah, I'm not saying it was a bad movie.
yeah.
It was a great movie.
In many ways, I think Batman Begins. I think back when I had the 3 on DVD or Blu-ray, I think I more often put in the first one than I did the others, just because I like training scenes and I like the whole figuring out how to be a hero.
I will stipulate that the first Batman movie in that trilogy is more Batman centric. You get all of his story, and I think once you get into 2 and then definitely 3, it kind of stopped being about
his. You was getting the Batman voice?
It stopped being about his development, and it became more about developing the villains or the setting or what was going on.
Yeah.
So from that point, yes, I think because I love Batman so much, getting that much character development in one movie was really, really good. But I do think 2 lives up to its hype and surpasses the first one. But that's just my. That's just my opinion.
It's a great stance.
Because that's okay with that. But
I am on that side of the table.
I'm still gonna throw feces at you.
I also loved when he was in that train with them, and he just told them, he's like, I don't have to save you, and just how he took off. Like, it was just the choices in this movie that was just happening for me that just made it a Batman movie. Yeah, like it was.
That's totally what I was thinking too. It was like, I'm peace, Nicole.
Don't summon me again unless you're ready for that pain.
For real.
What a good start to this, huh?
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of good points.
This is just
good points.
This is just.
We can only go down from here.
Who got one?
And you got to bring the pain.
I've got one specific one and then one generality because that's just how I roll. Specifically, and I want to preface this with a lot of fucking things.
So I was surprised earlier. Now I'm ready.
No, I know it's for kids, and I also didn't read the books.
Barney's amazing.
Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, we're going there.
I think, and this is, obviously, it's my personal opinion because they do very, very well.
Wait, hold on, everyone, quiet. All right, the wives didn't hear it, and I don't hear charging fee.
Okay, yeah.
All right, go.
I don't know, just more preface. The formula is there, obviously, for a great fucking movie and a great show and a great series. You got the different school or the different what are they called? Schools? Houses. Thank you. Yeah.
Total fucking Hufflepuff.
Yeah. You have the different houses, which allows the fandoms to pick and choose and fight amongst each other. It's like perfect. There's like the underground resistance part of the story, which is so fucking cool. There's obviously the back and forward love interest and stuff like that. Like everything in this is like totally built for a good story and a good hype. I fell asleep through every fucking movie except the last one. And it just, there was some, again, I was an adult when the movies came out. I was an adult when the books came out. So I didn't read them because they were kids' books or whatever. But I'm sure if I read the books, the movies would have been awesome to watch because those are certainly the kind of books, like reading it and then getting to see the stuff in action would be super exciting. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think by the third movie, I was a little over. Like the magic realm felt like there wasn't a lot of rules to it, and they can kind of just make up stuff as they go, as the plot needed it. And I felt like the characters, again, 3-4 movies in, were still like blown away by like magic can do this. It's like we've seen magic do all sorts of shit, and you're blown away that like a house is bigger on the inside or something like that.
Harry
It's like,
has not
fucking
been
Christ.
around magic, okay? 'Cause he didn't grow up in the world of it. God damn it! Didn't you watch the fucking movie?
No, I fell asleep.
Well, go back, watch it again. We'll wait.
No,
the Star
I
Wars.
have rewatched some since, and like
The
they're
Star
good.
Wars comparison to the Wizarding World. But
Yeah.
I do agree with Doug to a degree because I never gravitated to any of the Harry Potter movies because I would say this. I didn't watch anything until it was already said and done. So for me, the hype train that was about Harry Potter, I didn't get on board until after everything was said and done. Like I watched all the movies, I like pretty much damn near like binged everything. So I was one of those who didn't even have to wait, years for these movies to come out. But
Same.
That probably could have helped me. I watched them as they came out.
so
Snored in the theater.
So the hype for those movies, once again, I'm not saying that it's a bad movie or a bad series. The hype just didn't grab me to go, oh, I got to jump to the theater to go see this. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, interesting. It might be an age. Well, you enjoy the hell out of it.
Same.
You enjoy the
same.
hell out of it. Right?
It's the same thing as Jermaine. Like I didn't watch the movies as they came out. I didn't read the books. Like it wasn't until years later, like a friend, like really loved that whole thing, and I'm like, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I started watching the movies, and like I enjoyed the movies. They were whatever. And then I read the books, and I really liked the books. Mm-hmm. Like they are geared towards like a younger audience, but it still have like a lot of adult themes in them. I think when you read the books, it gives you a better appreciation for the movies because you know about the lore of the magical world. I wouldn't call it overhyped because it launched the imaginations of like a million people, but it doesn't like rank like super high with me.
Oh, we're gonna.
Yeah.
It's certainly entertaining, certainly enjoyable. Like I go back to the books every once in a while when I want to read, but that's kind of where I land on it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it brought so many people into the world of fantasy and maybe even to the larger nerd world, and we saw its influence at Comic-Con when the movie started coming out. Like that's part of the reason that, and like Twilight eventually is when Comic-Con started really exploding with people. So I appreciate what it did, but then I think there was a part of me that was always bugged me. It's like, Harry fucking Potter is what brought you into the nerd world? Like, there's a lot of cool shit that could have brought you into the nerd world. Like, you could have been going to Comic-Con for fucking comic books. Those are amazing.
Some people need that gateway drug.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The only thing I think that's overhyped about Harry Potter, so I just don't think it needs a fucking land at Universal Studios.
Oh, see that land at Universal Studios.
I love Butterbeer, man. Come on.
I love my Butterbeer, but I mean, I like the story, I like the world and everything like that. It's just so funny when something gets a land.
Yeah, but that actually, again, I think is a perfect place for a land because you do have all these points of interest in the world, these shops and these things to see. So I remember when I first went to that land,
part of me just trying to argue with me.
Yeah. No, when I went to that land, I was a little mad at myself that I didn't like Harry Potter more because. I mean, I think ever since like going to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, I've been like chasing that dragon, that high of like what it's like to be taken away to a world that I love. Mm-hmm. I mean, even going way back when Las Vegas used to have a Star Trek experience where you actually got to like go order a fucking Romulan ale at Quark's Bar and they had like Star Trek themed everything and like Andorians walking around and Vulcans walking around. And like back then when I was a kid, it's like, oh my God, I'm in fucking Star Trek world. And then as an adult going to Galaxy's Edge, same thing. So going to Harry Potter world, land, whatever, it was cool because it's visual. They did a really, really good job with it, but I didn't have that connection of love to it. But I recognized how cool it would be to like go to the wand shop or go get the fucking chocolate frog or something like that. Or I mean, I was happy during the butterbeer.
Every flavor
get the
beans.
little rum in there.
You ever had Bernie Bott's beans?
No, I don't want them.
It's so gross. I love it. Just get bamboozled.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, not to go off on too much of a tangent,
They
you know what land totally doesn't deserve it, but it's like super fucking cool?
Avatar?
Yes.
We're getting it here.
Yeah, because I've been to the one in Florida, and I'm like, we're planning the days out. Oh, we do Avatar like this. I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, it's a movie. I don't know if it deserves a fucking land.
Avatar, I mean, along this topic, I feel like that's one that's
on
like
my list.
It's media hyped, industry hyped. I don't know if it's necessarily fan hyped. I don't know if it's ever really been fan hyped. It's certainly over, and then it comes out and it's very mid, good, high mid.
It was.
I love Pocahontas.
That's exactly the story with horny tails. I just remember when it came out that people were crying about it. They wanted to kill themselves because they wanted to live on where the fuck was the Pandora? like, I want to live there. It's so beautiful.
Wait, is it Pandora or Pandora?
Yeah, it's
Pandora. I was gonna say Andor, but it's like that level of like fan hype that it had gotten. I was like, okay, and I finally got around to seeing it. I was like a teenager and I saw it. I was like, it's okay. Yeah. That one, it was on my list for overhype. Like,
I do
think
think
it's a cool movie.
One of the things that gravitated the hype to that movie was with James Cameron, because he came out and was like, "Oh, the technology that made this movie is going to be so like."
And he's always been like that.
Yeah,
he's always finding the new technology, to shoot
it's
something.
gonna be revolutionary.
Which I appreciate, from a filmmaking perspective. Well, no, just like the movie overall, like it looked really cool, and the sequel looks even better, and like wearing the corridor digital, they cover all that shit. Like technologically, it looks fucking amazing. Just specifically that first one, I go, okay, yeah, you're right. Pocahontas, Dances with Wolves, like it's all been done. It was a cool movie.
We're not saying it's a bad movie.
Right. It's a cool movie. It just was so fucking overhyped. That's it.
James Cameron got me to watch that bitch in fucking 3D.
Oh, he got your ass. He got your
I saw that in full 3D.
Is another one.
Like they were like, yeah, it's 3D. It's gonna be amazing. I'm like, fuck it, I'm in. Let's go. James Cameron says it. It must be so.
Yeah, Avatar, I mean, who was it? Kevin Smith or someone, I think at a Comic-Con pointed out the fact that like Avatar is just one of the highest grossing movies of all time. And they're like, quote it. Give us a quote. And like no one could quote that movie. There's nothing quotable. There's nothing there's nothing too memorable about it.
Unobtainium.
Oh, unobtainium. Yeah, perfect.
Speaking of which, do you feel like they cheated when Endgame came out and was like winning the box office and like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna put Avatar back in the theaters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely cheating. Oh, we're gonna re-release it. Make another couple billion.
To me, none of those numbers matter because we live in a world now where it's, how do I want to say it? It's like easier to go to the movies now. Plus, you got to look at inflation. Like if you're looking at numbers, like people spending $10 back in the day is a lot more valuable than spending $10 now. And
I don't know if inflation is included in this, but $2.923 billion.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Avatar, it looks great, but it's certainly, I think the very first episode of our show, we talked about what it is to be nerd or something. And I said, it's about wanting to be a part of those worlds. And I don't know, Avatar. I mean,
put that Ariel up there.
You said that people did want to be part of it, but there was nothing about that experience, that world, that I was like, I don't want to be a big blue avatar, or I don't want to live in a world where, I mean, I guess I want to be in nature or something like that, but that's certainly
that was exactly it. Yeah, just a little too overhyped.
Touch grass, gross. Yeah. What else did you have, Isaac?
Yeah, bring those heavy hitters, bro.
See, Avatar was up on there. I have Back to the Future on here. Just kidding. Relax.
I mean, I do agree. No.
Click, unfollow.
It's
as far as like a big franchise
lost
line.
all three of them?
Alva's out there going click. Blade Runner. Overhyped, slow movie. I fell asleep in both of them.
I still haven't been able to finish the first one.
Yeah, Blade Runner doesn't
and I love Cyberpunk. Really slow.
It doesn't hold that quadrant in my heart that it does for most sci-fi fans.
Man, people are really loving it.
But I think it was straightforward, a good movie, but it does run kind of long. And
it is my stepdad's favorite fucking movie.
The sequel too was the same damn pace. Like,
I fell asleep with that one because it paced like very specific.
So
I like the second one better than I did the first one, though.
Me too.
I couldn't tell you. It was still so long. Dude.
And it's a shame. Like I said, I fell asleep during the first one. I won't start at the second one. Cyberpunk is such a cool genre and cool setting that doesn't need to be slow. Like Cyberpunk absolutely doesn't need to be slow. So it's weird that they would go
Edge
that.
Runners. That was a good.
It's
a
a
little cartoon.
It's an amazing
or anime.
It's an amazing concept of a movie. It's just just trim the fat, cut some of the goddamn scenes. Only a fucking scenic pan thing pushing in for 10 minutes.
I will give you this side of it. So, like when the original Star Wars came out, just how that movie looked, we all get why, our parents or, the older generation gravitated towards Star Wars because, the technology just looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. The story, solid, but everything else that was in there for its time, for me, The Matrix is my Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things like where that that world and the technology. You're like, damn, they could actually do this to a movie. So
Overhyped, according to the internet.
with Blade Runner, my stepdad is one of those, like, to him, Blade Runner is like his Star Wars or like his Matrix.
Interesting.
Not saying that it's, one of those like like spectacle of a movies where,
Right.
you're just like, oh man, everything in here just looks amazing.
But it's your gateway drug.
Yeah, but it's his, like everything about that movie he likes, like, the way that the movie looked, the way that the story was told. He likes the pacing. Like, he even likes the end scene, like the decision that was, made, and like just the whole plot. Like, he just generally just loves that movie.
It's just that pacing that really killed. Like, I don't say that to any other movie. Again, I watched the first one to prep for the sequel, and I fucking fell asleep in both movies. I don't fall asleep in movies, dude. You know?
You want to watch a horrible pacing movie?
Skinamarink?
No, that was genius. You just didn't get it. The original cut of the Star Trek The Motion Picture, the very first one. Did you ever watch the original cut? I think, they mostly play the original cut. They've recently started playing another cut. There was, I shit you not, like a 30-minute just beauty shot of the Enterprise. Like, just slow pans across, like, the nacelle, the saucer. I mean, very long. So I think there's newer cuts that they cut that down, and a few other shots.
Music? Did it have the porn music?
Like the sax?
They should. I mean, they were so excited to get Star Trek and the Enterprise to the big screen.
Yeah.
And obviously a much bigger budget than what the show had, you know, and so they were, I think they were very excited to do these like glamour shots of the Enterprise, but it goes on a very fucking long time.
Oh, we gotta pull
because it's
that
like
out.
Admiral Kirk like flying to it from a shuttlecraft, and it's like, oh, there she is, and it's different from the show. They refit it, like in story it got refit, but it also makes it look cooler for the movie, and it huge, and like throughout the show they would do these glamour shots of it facing Viger, the giant cloud, and stuff like that. Overall, not a very good movie. It literally almost killed the franchise if it wasn't for like Lucille Ball or something wanting the second one made.
Yeah, that's crazy that she
man.
saved that damn series or that
Something,
franchise.
yeah. I don't know if it was her that like saved the movies. I know she definitely had a part in saving the series, but someone wanted the second one made, and someone was like, "I'll do it for $5," and made the best Star Trek movie on the second one. But
Any one of these?
no, that's J.J. Abrams.
God damn it.
That's the refit. So that would be like from the So that's like the refit of the Enterprise for the motion picture, and they just did like slow shots of like panning across all of like the different parts. And if you were huge nowadays, people probably love it because people like really get into like the ships and stuff like that. Back then, I don't know how many people were like fucking choking themselves while wanking it to the USS Enterprise.
Is there something you want to tell us, Douglas?
No, just stream of conscious grossness. Just
Hype attack. Get that on a shirt.
stream of conscious grossness. But sorry, I don't know. Yeah, more, but I'll let you finish before I go on my generalities. There was almost a segue there for me, but I won't take it.
Well, no, I'll segue to keep it in like the space realm, and I think people might agree with me on this one. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Anybody ever watched that?
You know what?
I think I watched it in one of my film classes.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I
I've
don't think I
seen like
gravitated to that one.
I think I saw clips of it. I don't think I've ever actually sat through the whole.
I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep in that one. Like that
Yeah,
one's
certainly another pacing, slow pace.
There's a few like Stanley Kubrick. I think is a wonderful director, but there are some movies that are misses, and I think that's one of them. Although it's like really praised, I just don't fucking get it. And maybe I'm just an idiot or whatever. But like another Stanley Kubrick movie that some people love to hate, but I love it in general. Just how it because we revisited it like about 2 years ago, Elva and I, The Shining. I was like, oh my god, this is way more scarier as an adult for some reason. Just like appreciating, the longer shots and letting it breathe or whatever. That fucking movie, I'm like, I get it. The fucking monolith thing. Let's go.
I think a lot of early sci-fi, such as Space Odyssey, at the time, going back to like what Jermaine was saying about the technology and stuff, I think a lot of that early sci-fi was just groundbreaking. So even at the pace,
sure.
even at the pacing was a little slower,
Yeah.
the story was a little out there.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think it was like going from, like the pulp comics and like, sci-fi was always kind of pushed like, to the back room or whatever. And then obviously shows like Star Trek and the early Battlestar Galactica and eventually Star Wars like brought it out. But anything that had like the cool sci-fi vibe to it, I think was just at the time seen as so revolutionary and groundbreaking. And not all of it's going to hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say in the old vein of movies, because I went to a art school. I'm not
Can you
gonna
put
say
the
name,
Enterprise away? I'm getting hard here, by the way. Sorry.
But
Is that what's hitting my foot?
Citizen Kane for me is one of those old school movies where I feel like it's overhyped,
On my list too.
but I get and I understand
Sure.
why the movie is praised, because it's one of those movies that that it started to get, like magical with the lens. So they started to film things differently,
They did, yeah.
so certain angles and shots, because when you were like on a TV show and you had a set, they're just filming, like straight on. There's no like kind of like a worm's eye view, of things, and bird's eye view and all these kind of creative angles, because it was just a set. There was nothing on top, because if you film up like you're looking up like a worm, you're gonna see like the studio lights and all that stuff. So, and probably boom mics and whatnot. But I get the praise and I understand it, but movie wise,
It was a sled.
So,
bro, that was a crawler of a movie.
Yeah.
Watching that in class, and normally you're like, oh, we're watching a movie today in class, and I'm in college at this time. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
And I don't know
wanted to run.
what year did that movie come out, but like
Oh.
it was a 3-hour movie. Even back then, it was like if you have a 2-hour movie, like whoa, a 2-hour
Yeah.
movie. No one's gonna sit for that. Would have to have an intermission, maybe 2 intermissions.
Yeah.
To have a 3-hour fucking movie. I know it's not like about. It's not.
Yeah.
The movie's not about learning what the fuck this Rosebud was.
Yeah.
It's learning about the man and stuff. But Jesus,
This is a
get
good
to it.
opportunity for a pep talk if we have any younger listeners and you're going into college. If there are history of film classes that meet like an art requirement, fucking take them, because you got to watch movies every day. You eventually have to write a paper or something on it. I took both of them, like the history of movies up to a certain point, and then the later ones, and I loved it. You do end up watching stuff like Citizen Kane, or eventually you get into like Jaws and any of the other big ones. But
Jaws is
stuff like
I am glad that
Doctor
I watched the
Strangelove
movie though.
and stuff like that.
Same.
Like I said,
so
I have an
right.
appreciation for it,
Yeah.
but the hype
Yeah.
No one's like, boy,
missed me with that shit.
let's plug in Citizen Kane.
I would say a lot of
We got
those
3
old
hours to
movies are worth watching. They might not be super entertaining, and they might not hold your interest in today's world of 3-second clips. But just to get an appreciation of what they used to have to do to make a movie, and what
Yes.
stunt actors and stuff had to do, and everything that that went into telling a story.
Absolutely.
And again, they're using film, so it's not like they can take a million takes of these things, like really nailing it first, compared to nowadays where you just roll digital forever and eventually get your shot and then throw in CG and fix it.
That's it, nah, dude. Honestly, I know like it's a bit of a tangent, but
go ahead.
But that's a fantastic point. Like, yes, some of these movies you should watch because they are what, like, all these other movies that may be shorter, more to the point, do stand on the shoulders of these movies that were
absolutely.
new. So,
And we constantly hear when people talk about their inspiration for modern stuff, they're going back to a lot of these
yeah.
older movies.
1000%. They go, it's hack. It's like,
Yeah.
well, come
Yeah.
I've never seen that fucking movie, but I use it all the time as a reference. I'm like, well, it's not going to be the next Citizen Kane because everyone universally holds that up
How
as a
dare
great
you.
movie. And it's always been on my list to watch, and I'm like, I'm going to watch this, and I'm not going to like it, and I feel like such an asshole for using it
would you
this whole
actually sit
time
down for 3 hours and do it?
as the standard.
Just flip it and start using it as like something that's shitty.
I just want to
Well, that's certainly going to be the next Citizen Kane.
Sister Candy got shit on this.
I wanna sit
There
there
is a man.
and not.
Man.
I want to be there when you watch the movie, but I just want to watch you for the whole 3 hours.
Tune in live.
I'll film like
First live.
I'll film a reaction video for that one.
There's cobwebs going on you in gray hair. That's a good pull. Do you want to keep going down the movie list? Because I know there's like shows or certain other things we can cover.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV shows too.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I only have like 3 shows on my list that really like disappointed me.
maybe I will just go into my generalities real quick.
Do it.
All of this. No, I would say. I mean, you guys have certainly heard my rant before, but I would say a lot of modern nerd stuff I think is overhyped. I think Marvel is overhyped.
Agreed.
And part of it is because Marvel is branching, new age Marvel, right? Post Endgame is certainly branching off into different genres, and I think Marvel fandom and nerd media, hasn't quite accepted that, and they want to hype everything up as it's going to be the next big thing. But like Agatha is obviously not in the same vein as Captain America or Iron Man, right? It's Marvel, but it's not the suit. Like if you were going to the comic book shop, you wouldn't be like, "Ooh, Iron Man, ooh, Agatha all along." Like those are two different audiences, and so I think the media and even fandoms need to like start recognizing that, and like maybe like don't hype up Agatha if you're not a witch fan, right? Just because it's Marvel, like it doesn't put it in the same vein as like I like watching a guy fly around in a suit blowing people up with lasers. Like it's not the same thing. So I think there's a little bit, and I blame modern media for a lot of it, because you know, even us, if we wanted to put out a reel or a post every day, we would start having to do the same thing. Every little thing would become either some point of hype or some point of anger, right? Rage bait, bullshit, like everything. And I think that's why we get this hype around like cameos and comic book accurate suits and Easter eggs. We have so much hype around all of that, and I don't know if it should exist as much. So I feel like all of it's overhyped. I mean, again, I've gone on plenty of rants on this show, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But I think it's an outcome of modern media and just that constant need for engagement that makes us turn everything into like either overhype or over anger.
Agreed.
Do you think it's because it's so saturated that it's become that way? Like if they reeled it back and put out less things, would it necessarily be?
No, because so many people are making money / followers or whatever covering it. Even if there was one superhero movie a year, we would spend 364 days talking about up to the movie, talking about every fucking detail and overhyping every little thing, and then the movie would come out and we'd continue doing it based off of it. But like I don't know what the cure is for it. Wipe the internet and go back to magazines. I don't know, but that's just how. I don't know, but there are certain things, like I think cameos are overdone now at this point. Cameos and Easter eggs, I think there's way too much hype about it. Sometimes the cameos are great. We haven't talked about it, but the trailer for Ballerina, just getting to see John Wick again. That's a great cameo, because John Wick's a character that we all like. The last movie, spoiler alert, he fucking died. So getting to see him again, like that's the kind of cameo. Yeah, allegedly, that's the kind of cameo that like is cool and it makes sense. And I'm sure he's not going to be like a major part of the movie, and it also makes sense for that world because it's like he's the Baba Yaga, he's the big guy. But you know, some like I said, you know, when Deadpool Wolverine came out, like so immediately, who's going to be the cameos? Who's all in it? Who's in it? It's like, who fucking cares? It's a movie about Deadpool and Wolverine. Cameos are supposed to be like a fun thing, or like, plus it's a shared universe, so it's like these people exist in that universe, like they should be there. And if they're not, they're not. If they are, they are. But like we turn it into just this like news story. Like let's do a whole podcast about who's going to be in this. Anyway, who do you guys think is going to be in the new Superman movie?
You know, Nate Fillon's
We've already got a big old list. We got a big old list. Everyone's fucking talking about it. And the costumes. Does he have fucking underwear? I don't know. He better.
I'm gonna be mad if Ryan Reynolds doesn't reprise his roles.
Yeah.
This is a space for him.
Anyways, that's my rant. I think generally a lot of stuff's overhyped right now.
That really is valid. Honestly, I have nothing else after that. But yeah,
that's fine.
I'm on board.
I think nothing gets me off more than validity. So
Where do we go from there?
Jermaine, I'm surprised you haven't brought up your baby,
My baby.
congratulations.
John Carter.
Are you hyped about?
Flush twice next time. Oh,
Fuck.
Was there hype? Was there hype around that?
Oh, there was so
Yeah.
much fucking hype around that.
Oh, that's right, because that was Disney's like last ditch effort to make a franchise for boys and Jermaine's.
You made me remember.
That was, of course, every article, every fucking opinion that I looked up on, especially like big, budget
Yeah.
movies, like this is going to be the next Star Wars.
Yeah, so
the next franchise, the next
people
money
been
printing
chasing
machine.
that.
Yeah,
I started reading the books like kind of just before the movie was coming out, or they even announced the movie, because it was one of those series that's always been on my list because it was it was a story that was written damn near 100 years ago or over 100 years ago, but it was kind of considered kind of like the grandfather of sci-fi, like it was kind of sci-fi before anything even kind of became sci-fi.
I think sci-fi before it was a genre.
Yeah, so
Don't erase Mary Shelley.
but as I'm reading it, I can see the cultural influences to certain icons over the years, like Superman able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, because when John Carter gets transferred to Mars, his density is different, so he could leap further than the Martian. So, but it's one of those things where they called it John Carter of Mars, but of course the first book is technically The Princess of Mars. So Disney kind of rebranded it because they didn't want to make everybody think that it was a princess movie.
Oh yeah.
And they kind of changed a lot of things in there, but it was one of those things. When you read the book, you're like, just stick to the fucking book. They should have just stuck to the book. Prince of fucking Persia. just because I'm on this. I don't.
Princess Bride's next.
I don't like when
off.
Kidding, I love it.
when Disney gets the property or something. The term I use, they Disneyize it.
Disneyfication.
So they kind of, like Pirates of the Caribbean, it to make it look like it's, like a family movie, like one of those things, because the creator of Prince of Persia, he wrote a script. So I love Prince of Persia on PlayStation 2. That's probably, besides Metal Gear, one of my favorite video game franchises ever, because that trilogy, magnifique. But I went to go watch the movie, and it was complete trash, like dumpster fire, like trash, compared to what it could have been. And then after the fact, what made me I felt like that little red dude from Inside Out. As I'm
Anger?
Yeah, as I'm reading the actual script that the actual creator of Prince of Persia wrote, and actually had a script done and gave it to Disney, but they're like, oh no, we're not gonna use that. I'm reading this, I'm burning up, like I'm boiling, because I'm like, damn, this could have been what I could have seen on screen. Damn. But those are but John Carter was one of those that was getting that legendary hype around it, and boy oh boy,
You know what wasn't hype?
was it trash.
In both of those movies, glisten up abs. Let's go. And I'll watch it for that.
I read an article when I was researching this about John Carter. Originally, it was John Carter of Mars, and the reason they dropped the of Mars was because I think whatever studio had it, was it Disney? They had like a new marketing vice president or executive come in who didn't know shit about marketing movies, but it was, you fail upward in Hollywood.
In a lot of places.
But they compiled a list of movies that had the word Mars in it, and they were all bad movies.
Wow.
So they're like, we're dropping of Mars. This is going to be John Carter. that was the reason behind that particular title change.
I mean, Mars Attacks is fucking amazing. So he's wrong.
That was on the list.
Yeah.
They're like Mars Attacks, bad movie.
Though the princess thing, when I was substituting, I remember like, you know, my great job of getting paid $120 to watch movies all day. Sometimes I eventually had to teach, but it was like, all right, we can watch The Lion King or The Princess Bride. And I was like, we're gonna watch Princess Bride. I oftentimes didn't give my students a choice, but like,
Fuck them kids.
some like, especially like, a lot of the boys in the class, I don't want to watch Princess Bride. I was like, have you seen this movie? It's fucking great. And they're like, it's got princess. I don't want to watch a princess movie. It's like, there's a princess, but it's not that kind of. It's not a princess movie. You know? And then I eventually showed them. They all liked it. But
Same.
But the name certainly, you know, when your target is certainly 13,
Yeah.
14, 15-year-old boys, you can't have princess in the name.
Yeah, like if it was called Shrek, then they'd be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it has those elements in there. It's his own thing, but yeah, those guys are trash.
The other thing I took away from that article that I read was during its red carpet premiere, which was in LA at the LA Live space. Disney has the Al Cap in there. Everyone's like, why isn't it at the Al Capitan? But whatever. Taylor Kitsch, the star,
Oh yeah.
was doing the red carpet walk, and right in the middle of his walk, one of the producers came up to him and, like, you know, friendly, put his arm behind him and leaned in and whispered into his ear, "This is gonna be a fucking disaster." And then walked away. And the lady, the female co-star, had seen him say something and walk away, and she walked up to him and he was like, what did he say to you? Because he was visibly rattled, like visibly shaken, and he was like, he just said it's gonna be a fucking disaster, and he had to, like, you know, still do the rest of his red carpet walk with that 1,000-yard stare, and then actually watch the movie, and like the movie just got shit on like right out the gate immediately.
Was that moment the inspiration for that end scene in Oppenheimer, where he says something to him? What did he say? And he gets all bummed out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Can I throw one more movie in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably won't talk about this one very long. Does anyone remember Cloud Atlas?
Yes.
Never saw it, but Channing Tatum?
Tom Hanks?
It had like it had a shitload of people in it, and it was
And
like
it was also
Mila
the
Kunis?
Wachowski sisters.
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, I think so.
I think might have been just one. Yeah, but
Lana or whatever. I remember like it being like, oh, look at all the people in it, and the storytelling is so different, and it's non-linear, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that got me into the theater. Like the hype is what dragged me into that theater. It wasn't like any genuine interest in seeing all these people together.
What was the tagline in that movie? Like there was a phrase that they kept saying.
I feel like anything the Wachowskis make after The Matrix is going to have like a certain level of hype, you know? Although I like Sense8, if you ever saw that show on Netflix.
Which one? Oh, Sense8.
Sense8.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I think I watched
Sensei.
Sense8. Yeah.
My mind heard
Sensei.
Sensei.
Yeah.
Arigato.
That would say, I mean, most of the stuff we're talking about, though, that we're bringing up is stuff that was hyped beforehand. Like, it was hyped, and then once it dropped, it was like, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything? Well, like Jermaine's take on Dark Knight and my take on Harry Potter, but do you guys have anything that other people are still hyped about and really go on about? And then,
Like that are like extremely controversial.
You know what? In the franchise realm, yeah, Fast and the Furious. Why the fuck are those movies still being made? Why do people like those movies?
I cannot fathom that.
What the goddamn hell is wrong with people?
My wife loves that series.
I had some.
Who's the director
they're
that
fucking
recently came out
great.
and
They're
said
fucking genius. What are you
he
talking
Yeah,
about?
loves the
Douglas.
movie? Oh, Christopher Nolan. Didn't Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan say it?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Look it
Yeah.
up. No,
Look it up.
look
He
at
did.
it.
He
Yeah,
did.
Christopher
He did.
Nolan said that's candy, baby.
Yeah.
He said that shit is delicious.
I mean, I think-
not really, but
I think you have to hand it to them for the wherewithal to switch up what the genre is, or what, like, you know, at one point it became a heist movie. I think with 5, right, when they were in Brazil, it became a
It's the
full-on
greatest
Ocean's
superhero-
11
And then it
heist.
turned to a superhero
Then
movie.
it turned into
the greatest superhero franchise ever created.
They did some magnificent work with time differences and like making the third one actually take place after
Honestly,
the 6th one or something like that. Like,
It is, yes. It is a big guilty pleasure for me, but it's like I'm not in a hurry to go watch the movies. But I will say this: the storytelling of how they introduce characters, to me, that is good writing. Like like
John
how
Cena
they,
here. He's Vin Diesel's brother.
yeah, like how they keep things so interesting. It is creative because you look at it like if you were watching like The Boys. Let's take all the nonsense of Fast and Furious out, but just how they stitch in people in that series, like how Dom had a baby with this girl, but then now she's in here like it's her auntie, and I'm like, oh, there's just more family that just keeps coming in this movie, but
And
they
people
just,
die and come back and stuff like that.
yeah, but they just stitch things in very well. So it is a very well, like it is told very well because to me, I take it as these people started off like this, but I unbuckle my mind.
I heard that about the
and
movies
just
ago.
enjoy the ride. It is a very creative.
I tried.
franchise.
I tried. I
The-
legit.
Oh no, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. The first one, I think there was a lot of hype. And I remember, I mean, especially because street racing and stuff was certainly a thing back in that day. People were dropping their Civics
I don't
and
think
putting
they
the
knew how
mufflers
long a
and
quarter
shit.
mile was.
Yeah. So I remember, back in the day, it was very hyped. Everyone loved it because everyone wanted to be a street racer. And then, pretty quickly it dropped off and became its own thing. I think now it's almost like everyone's guilty pleasure. Everyone wants to see it because the cast is amazing and it's generally pretty fun popcorn stuff. I equate it to like I love good food. I love a good cheeseburger, blah blah blah. But I'll still go to an AM/PM and get a fucking cheeseburger. I will take people like, hey, have you ever had an AM/PM cheeseburger? You want to go to AM/PM right now? We'll get a cheeseburger,
And I
some
acknowledge
peanut butter
it
Snickers,
as
and
that. I do acknowledge
Monster,
it as that.
and then regret it.
Are you
So-
gonna get your light bars that you got and tape them underneath your Prius?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
No, that's
get
a good
it.
one. That's a good one. 'cause that
have a-
franchise is diabolical.
Bro, I have a
It is.
coworker. I was like naming actors. He goes, "You making those up?" I'm like, "Anthony Hopkins? You never heard of him?" He goes, "Nah. I mean, I know like The Rock, Jason Statham. Like, are you just naming everyone in Fast and Furious? Oh, I love Fast and Furious." I was like, "Okay. Do you watch any other movies? Like any cowboy? No, cowboy movies are lame." I'm like,
But you can name everybody in the
like Fast and Furious is a great movies.
Expendables. That's a franchise that's a guilty pleasure too.
Have you guys been on that the studio tour at Universal where they have the Fast and Furious experience?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
God,
I
that
don't think I've
thing
been.
is so fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking ridiculous.
Oh God, sorry.
I am still waiting for that series. I know we're going off on a tangent to go back to racing. Like I feel like this last one they actually did do one race, but then it was so distracting because Momoa was being Mimosa squared and mimosas. God, I'm a
Mimosa.
fucking drunk.
I caught that. I was waiting for the dawning of realization. And you did not disappoint.
Jason Momoa was being Momoa squared, and it was too distracting to appreciate the movie.
I want to use that as a segue to go into our actors. I want to probably fire some stuff, but stop me if you want to. Jason Momoa, overhyped. I'm done with him. I've talked about it in the review before.
Yeah.
I'm fucking down with Jason Momoa.
I will still lick ice cream off his abs, but
he might be Lobo.
Guinness flavored it.
It's never gonna happen.
if he does Lobo, but they tone him down and make him be Lobo and not be himself.
He's
then
himself in
sure.
every fucking movie.
I know,
He
I
has to
know.
write it in like,
Well,
what?
I mean, like, you look back to like his Khal Drogo performance. He wasn't. He was Khal
Oh
Drogo.
yeah, he was
he didn't have it
dark
yet.
and imposing.
Yeah.
Like he was
Yeah.
good in that
And even Conan, but
when he's not allowed
I
to
don't
say
think he had the
anything.
weight to him yet. And then after a certain point, he's like, I'm Jason Momoa. Wahoo.
Yeah.
Does like a haka in every fucking movie he does.
I think fucking Logo kind of fits his character
yeah.
though.
It does. If they can
'Cause
darken him up a
Lobo's-
little bit, if they can, yeah,
Make him a little bit more sinister instead of goofy.
yeah,
All right, let's spitfire these.
make him go on like a bender for like 6 months, and smoke cigars, and
Now, I have these
Ride
on,
a bike.
on this list. I don't agree with them because my wife put some of these down there and I told her to take them off. John Cena. Overhyped?
fucking love John
I
Cena.
love
Fuck
John
you.
Cena.
Love John Cena.
he's
Fuck you.
solid.
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Overhyped?
Yeah,
At
he's
this
starting.
point,
He's
yeah.
starting to edge into that.
Very, very.
In that same realm, Kevin Hart.
Yes. yes.
Rachel would absolutely agree with you. Yeah,
There's an oversaturation of Kevin Hart.
The only reason why I say those two because it's like, bro, you make a movie every 5 minutes. You can't love this movie.
No, yeah, you can't.
So it's just one of those things. Like I know they're just doing it now just because, like there's let's just make these movies and collect that paycheck. But that's all it is.
Chris Pratt, overhyped.
I don't want to get into the many reasons I don't like him.
Political reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Socio-political, yeah.
Jared Leto, overhyped.
Oh, he's absolutely over. He's an amazing musician. Like I love him in 30 Seconds to Mars.
I always forget
Like
that.
I caught a live show. He's a very charismatic performer when he's out there singing.
You don't like
But that fucking his movie career is so weird. It's just weird.
I will give it to him that he really fucking tries.
Do you think though
Is it sadder though that he tries so hard and still fails
the hype though?
spectacularly?
But I mean, the hype around him is the behind the scenes stuff, right? Is there actually hype that he's a good actor, or the hype is that he's trying really hard to be a good actor,
Ooh, good point.
or he's got this method that he does that gets all the attention? Like, I don't know if anyone's ever actually said like, "Oh, you got to see the next Jared Leto movie. Like, he's amazing."
Yeah.
It's just he generates these stories around it because of the
method's
way he is.
Has he been in anything that's been fucking acclaimed, loved?
Requiem for a Dream.
He was in Requiem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's okay. Yeah.
I need to watch that again because I remember like that was what Darren Aronofsky's second.
No,
I
Blade
saw
Runner.
it.
Blade Runner 2045.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, unmemorable from that. Sorry, keep going.
Johnny Depp, overhyped.
No, I love me some Johnny Depp. I would love to go in Depp.
Round table.
I feel like he had a moment that like with the fame of or with Pirates of the Caribbean, I think his Sparrow character. I think that was like that character alone was kind of overhyped and kind of led to Johnny Depp.
I'll get to you in a second. I want to comment on that.
His jump shark.
Yeah,
character.
When I remember rewatching the first one and then seeing whatever the last one he was in, and I'm like, how are you doing an impersonation of your own character? And it was bad.
Yeah. He's family though, so I can't talk about him.
Theatrical
I don't
pause.
mind.
Wind up.
I don't mind Johnny Depp. Like he does take on like different characters and roles. So he kind of plays his stuff kind of kooky sometimes. But I'm a backtrack a little bit because I couldn't think of the name. The Dallas Buyers Club.
That was with Leto, right?
He was,
Yeah, I was trying to remember that.
That's
I was trying to
the
remember
only. That's the only like.
It was good.
Leto performance that I'm like, damn, that shit was like great.
Did you like him getting axed in American Psycho?
I still think his Joker. I think if they had allowed his Joker to be fleshed out and actually be the villain of Suicide Squad, because we saw even with Zack Snyder's working with him a little bit in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool Joker. So
Validation. I'm on your page. We have towels underneath the
But Johnny
table.
Depp,
Here's one.
a little bit overhyped.
Steven Seagal, overhyped.
Fuck off.
yeah, whatever. He gave us
Yes or no?
He gave us a great cake scene. And,
Steven Seagal is the fucking Kmart of action heroes. Action movie heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
No, we can't go to the theater. We got action movies at home. He's gonna burst through this door right now and do that one kick that he's taught everybody.
If it's not
It's
pre-cut.
that one kick. Yeah, that one kick.
He coming here like the Kool-Aid man.
That's the fucking. I love that. Like we're not gonna go see the fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. We have Jean-Claude Van Damme at home. And it's fucking Steven Seagal.
Oh my god! Have you seen like his recent videos of him trying to show karate?
That's
It's like,
crazy.
I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Oh god!
I did hear though, like I wasn't joking about the one kick. Like I read somewhere that like UFC fighters from around the world like were going to him to learn like one fucking kick or something like that.
God. Yeah. Vin Diesel, overhyped.
I think he's overhyped himself, but I think he delivers what I expect.
True. Yeah, kind of
He doesn't
character
really-
acting.
He thinks himself.
I love
as-
his voice work.
Yeah.
I am Groot.
And the Iron Giant.
So he gets paid to grunt.
Yes, he does it very well.
I will say this: the Vin Diesel franchise for me, that's a guilty pleasure. Is the Pitch
Riddick.
Black, like
Oh yeah. I need to watch all of those.
his
I-
Riddick series.
I don't want to.
He hasn't been in enough movies because again, I think he's overhyped himself to be like, oh, I'm only going to do certain things. Because what did he do? Like the first Triple X, which who remembers that? I mean, what Ice Cube
I
did
do
the second
kind
one.
of.
Did
Was that the one where he took like a rocket launcher and said something like it's PlayStation Baby or something like that? Was that the second one?
Ice Cube?
Was that Ice Cube that did that? You got to start thinking PlayStation or something. Was that the Triple X?
probably what a pull.
I don't know. I don't remember shit. But
I love
remember
how
that.
he played that damn character in Triple X. That movie is hot fire, but garbage fire. But it's just
Like a corrector.
it's just magical.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
And that sometimes is what makes a great action movie is when it is like
Yeah.
this is fucking garbage,
Ridiculousness.
but I love
He
it.
did do a movie that I thought that was going to be decent because I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but he might be one of those actors that's into like D&D and stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
So when he made that one movie, The Last Witch Hunter,
Oh, that's right. That was based off his D&D character, right?
I was kind of excited for it, but then I was like, wow.
Celebrity D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
a
also
little
did
show.
that great Street Sharks commercial.
Oh yeah, that was
That was
old
like his
school.
acting
Damn.
debut.
Yo, he did a yes.
Yeah, we'll pull it up after this.
Let's not be sexist. Sydney Sweeney.
Fuck off.
Overhyped.
She's great. They're great.
Is she-
No,
is she
I
there?
take that back.
I
I
don't
really
know
don't
it.
want to be the pervy. I think
don't
she's
know.
a good actress.
I think she's gorgeous. And like, watch my review of the movie Immaculate, the horror movie she did. She's all about it, and like,
that's not the kind of movie you judge anyone's performance in.
what do you mean?
Like horror. I mean, horror movies in general.
Horror?
I feel like
No, here's why. Here's why. Okay, we know that she has some very gorgeous and obvious assets, right? And God bless her for fucking putting them out there. I fucking love it, right?
this fucking perv. I swear to God.
Fuck. But when the movie is about her being an immaculately pregnant nun, very clothed, why is it written into there where it's like, and more clothing comes off, and more clothing comes off, and
Because it's fucking Hollywood and they know how to sell a movie. I think she's gonna suffer. Because did you watch Euphoria?
I can't.
Oh, okay. She's great in Euphoria, and I think
I heard there was a lot of penis in that. I haven't watched it. That's why I said I hear.
you know, I
Can
mean,
I get
in
that
today's
as like
world,
an
like
isolated sound clip?
one dong goes on the screen and it's like too much for a lot of people. But I think
They
there
haven't
was,
seen Spartacus.
there was a couple scenes like in the locker room or whatever where there was just like dongs everywhere. I think Sydney Sweeney's going to suffer from just the fact that she is beautiful and she does have big boobies and she's not afraid to put them out there, which is cool. You know, not everyone has to do it. I think that's the greatness of freedom and everything in this country. But I think she actually does have the acting skills behind her, and I think Hollywood's going to be tempted to put her out there as a sex thing, and then people are going to want to treat her as that too. Because what else? Oh, White Lotus. She was good in White Lotus too.
And that's what I'm trying to say is I do think she actually has some acting abilities. It was just in that role you go, that didn't need an immaculate, like it didn't need to show so much skin and everything in those.
Yeah.
And I remember just watching and going, "Oh, darling, oh, sweetie, no."
I
Yeah,
feel like it's
but
too
she's
soon.
going to put it out there.
In my head, it's too soon to say anything about her. Like if she's overhyped because she's just starting off. Like it's any girl back in our day. Like I don't know, like a Jessica Alba or what's her name from the Buffy the Vampire series?
Sarah
Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle.
I couldn't think of that name. And
Jennifer
then-
Love Hewitt. Oh.
Yeah, like they were.
She's coming back for No, we did last summer.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. Unfortunately,
But she
any
did
pretty girl is
summer.
there's gonna be that question of whether or not they're actually getting the job because I mean this is the sexist world, and I'm sure all our women listeners, all two of you, can equate to this. There's always going to be that like, oh, did they get the job because they're good acting, or it's because they're pretty, right? And you know, we as men don't have to deal with that.
And to flip that script, her co-star Glenn Powell, is he overhyped? Is he actually good?
I don't know if he's
actor?
overhyped, but he's been in fucking everything.
But is he?
lately.
I mean, I don't. Even, I mean, who
he's
are
been
these
in
hyped
everything, but
actors?
he's just stepping out though. Like he's kind of just becoming his own. Like he hasn't even really started
Yeah.
yet.
I think in today's world, we're almost just desperate for new actors that anyone that comes out is going to be hyped or whatever. But along your Sydney Sweeney things, I mean, like you look at like Megan Fox back in the day, she was certainly
She's on the
someone
list.
that was overhyped.
Her
Though
Machine Gun
I
Kelly.
love Jennifer's Body and I love her performance in Jennifer's Body. I think she did an amazing job. I think that movie's fucking great.
I do agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Megan Fox again is one of those characters or actresses that people were always just gonna cast her as you're just here to be hot, sweetie. No, don't try to act. Just be a lampshade.
No,
It's a lampshade
I
test, don't
loved
know
her
about that.
in The New Girl.
Oh, that's right. They
Played
brought her
by
in that,
Reagan,
yeah.
Raisin as a live and breathe. And so you got to see her kind of like, flex her comedic wings and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I think actors and actresses, like I said, I don't know if there's anyone beyond like The Rock and stuff. I don't know if there's anyone too hyped, but keep going.
Snoop Dogg hyped? A little over the
Snoop.
hyped?
Snoop Dogg's just living his life.
It's on the list. I was just
crazy,
no, hold on. I put it on the list.
crazy.
I put it on the list because I was just curious. I wanted to throw it to you guys. I love Snoop. He's in the thing. I'm like, fuck yeah, you go get it, Snoop.
He's a living, walking meme at this point, and I think the internet loves it. But
He's
it's like
on
if
the
you're
live
not, if you're not a
shit.
fan
This
of
is
meme
right now.
culture,
This is off topic.
He's on side quest right now. Like,
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
he's living his life. He's enjoying all the side quests.
dude. This is like the country with fucking Willie Nelson. This is a little off topic, but do you think him and Martha Stewart smashed?
jeez, I don't fucking know.
I don't think so.
But no, to answer your question, one, I think people should probably remember that Snoop Dogg was on trial for murder and went to jail. But I think, like I said, he's a living, walking meme. And if you're into the meme culture, if you're into that kind of thing, I think he's not overhyped. If you hate that kind of content, then I could see thinking that he's overhyped, especially at this point because he hasn't really put out music or anything at the time. Like he is a celebrity in the absolute sense of you're here because you're a celebrity. And
Yeah.
I could see some people, especially like old boomers and apparently you, being like, what?
No. This is.
I don't care about him.
I love Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Do you guys remember when he put out that he's going to quit smoke?
Yes, and it was what, an edible or something.
Oh, but
No,
I think,
it was-
hold on. But
It was
actually,
the grill, the
Oh,
solo
yeah.
grill, solo stove.
Yeah.
I don't think Snoop Dogg went to jail for murder. He was acquitted.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't.
Thank you for correcting.
He
us.
was on trial. He was on trial.
Didn't he
Because I vaguely
serve
remember
time
that
for like a
picture
weapons charge?
when they gave him like the verdict. Like he was like, "Oh my god!" Like but he just like I vaguely
No, thank you for
remember
that. I
that.
didn't want to paint him as a
Wasn't him.
violent criminal. or
Murder
something
was the
like
case that they gave me.
Or was the one-armed man?
A few short ones. Okay, a few short ones. It's just me like shooting shots.
that. We're gonna make fun of short people now.
Yeah, Beyonce's country album. Is that shit fucking overhyped or
Oh,
what?
God.
God damn it.
I haven't listened to it, so I can't answer that. Again, I
I'm
question
not,
is that actually
This
hyped
is
or
the
is
wrong
that the
audience.
media?
Like, I'm not running
hyped.
to anything
It's played
Beyonce.
everywhere.
Because I'm not running to anything Beyonce. I'm not running to anything Taylor Swift. So this is
I've listened to that album, and generally I like it.
All right, well, we're firing you. Okay, then we're at fire last a couple ones. Kristen Stewart, overhyped.
No, again, I don't even. Was there hype around her? I don't.
bro, you're bringing like
Yeah.
the most mid.
Adrian Brody,
No. What?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence had.
All right, moving on.
Jennifer Lawrence had.
And lastly, Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
See, one of those is going to hit, yeah.
She hasn't done anything
try it.
yet for me to have that type of hype.
Jennifer Lawrence had Tumblr hype. I don't know if you guys remember Tumblr. It still exists, but not in the same form that it used to. And I was pretty big on, not big on Tumblr. I use Tumblr a lot.
I was like,
never-
I
Tumblr?
need you to
What
come
movie
with
is
a
that?
list
And then I
of
wrote
like,
Tumblr.
of like
Social
Tom
Network.
Hanks,
Yeah.
like Tom Cruise. Like I needed the
So
A-listers.
yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, I think at one point was
No, because Tom Cruise is
was
awesome.
overhyped. I think Jennifer Lawrence, because she was so relatable, right? Like, oh, hey, you're on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Oh, I want some French fries.
Yeah.
Like, fucking love it, right? And it was a breath of fresh air. But I think we've had this discussion, I don't know, on the show where it's like social media, internet culture loves to find these almost heroes, right? Amongst especially the royalty of Hollywood, that we latch on to people that seem so normal. And she was certainly that person. And then eventually it kind of became obnoxious. It kind of, I know she pissed off a lot of people she was filming a show in Hawaii, and like she sat on some sacred rocks and then kind of brushed it off. It's like, it's just fucking rocks or whatever. It's like different cultures. And, especially her being a white woman, that pissed off some people. And I think it was kind of a downward spiral from there. But I think she had a moment of being overhyped, but I think it went away and people moved on because that's that meme culture.
I feel certain actors and actresses, they have hype around them for a role that they played. Hunger Games, and you got boy who played Harry Potter.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah,
He's been smart about his career though.
You have a lot of people who are in franchises that have all the hype around that particular series, but sometimes when that actor or actress branches off and does other things start to tilt downward because they're not. Maybe it's two things that people can't get outside of their head. No, this is Harry Potter. He doesn't.
Yeah, he suffered from that the most
in this world, or her. Jennifer Lawrence. It's just one of those things. It's a hit or miss movie, depending on your fan base. So it's just, and the hype might not be there for other series.
I think it's different though, also because like Jennifer Lawrence, like I don't know if her hype was ever based around her acting skills. Her hype was based around her being such an enjoyable person, and again a breath of fresh air. That people were like, yes, another Jennifer Lawrence movie. Like I want to see it just to support her. I don't know if anyone beyond the Hunger Games, I don't know if anyone ever really like latched onto her as like this great actress. And I'm not saying she's bad. I'd still go see her movies and stuff, but there is that difference because she, like I said, we have this social media world where we grasp onto. And we were talking about Dave Grohl the other day, where it's the same thing. Where I think he recently became like the target of this, like, oh, Dave Grohl, he's one of the good ones. He does all these good things. And turns out he had a baby out of it, which normally would be no big deal, especially in the rock star world. It's not a big deal, but because the internet latched onto him as one of the good ones, there's like 5 of them left.
I do hate that when they paint celebrities as like they're the good ones. They're like, no, everyone has their ability to.
We're desperate for these heroes, right? Like John Cena was seen as one, and then now it's like, oh, there's a little. The Rock was seen as one, but he's becoming a little too business orientated. Like. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, like there's that latest controversy. We're so anxious for these heroes that we do overhype them, and then we as in society, not us, we don't. We overhype them, and then when the cracks start forming and we see these people as real fucking people that make mistakes, we gotta shit on them.
I have one to add to your list, more in Jermaine's vein of like A-lister, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Alba wanted to put that one on the list. Fuck off.
I couldn't even tell you what he was saying.
No, I think he's great. Not overhyped. Now the whole method acting thing, Call Me Mr. Lincoln is a bit much, but the guy has great roles.
The only reason, because I was going through a list and I saw his name on there, and I'm like, he's like generally like universally acclaimed. Every time something from the span where he was active, every time he did a movie, it was like, oh shit, we got to go see that because Daniel Day-Lewis is going to be amazing in it. And for the most part, he delivered on all of those. But I don't think I ever saw My Left Foot, but
let's pull it up now.
I don't know if that would fall under the overhype category or not.
No, because I think that like his batting average is he's actually pumped out some good shit. I know he's quit acting for like 7 years now, maybe coming back at it again, but I think he legitimately has great roles and performed very, very well. How dare you?
You might just not like his movies.
Oh, I got one for you guys that's been on some people's list. Do you guys think Tom Hardy is overhyped?
No, I don't, because I do think that he is humble in his approach. In this one interview, they're like, so how do you feel about method acting? He goes, no. I don't method act. I just want to put that out there. That's not me. I want to paint this correctly. Here's how I approach it in a very basically a human way sort of thing. And he has had great roles. He has performed very well.
Yeah, he's had some good movies.
The Venom movies kind of ruined that whole fucking theory.
But I heard that he did the
that
Venom
kind
series for his kids, though.
Yeah.
I get that. I get it.
Like
that's
like,
cool.
that's
That's
just a
totally
fun
fine.
movie.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because he has a kind of like his catalog is solid. Like
Shinzon.
But to what like what what?
Shinzon. He played the clone of Captain Picard in Star Trek Nemesis. He was a skinny little fuck. This was before he got big.
I guess Bronson. He's fucking
yeah.
all out in Bronson.
Dongers out and everything.
Donger. Rock and Rolla. First role I saw him in was in Rock and Rolla.
Dog, I need food. Sorry.
No, but Bronson is really good.
Bronson's
And that's the thing. That's the thing with Tom Hardy is again. I don't know if there's. Maybe I'm not connected. I'm not like reading celebrity gossip. I don't know if there's hype around any of these people that you're bringing up. I think people get excited about things because Tom Hardy does play. He's got that list of just cool characters, right? I think we've talked about that idea of like, man, if you took an actor and all the roles that they've had, like who's got the coolest ones? And Tom Hardy's like up there with like Max, Venom, Bronson, Shinzon. Like he's got this
1,000%.
Bane.
But you brought up a great point. Like there's a different type of hype, like with Jennifer Lawrence, where it's not necessarily her roles, but how society is seeing her. And I think that's the same thing with like how society is seeing Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
The same thing can go for like Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is certainly one of those like good guys that legitimately good
He's
guy,
a
legitimately
fucking
good
national
guys.
treasure. How fucking dare
Yeah,
you.
But
He's a national treasure, but-
he's the one that's going to be like he had to fucking piss and he pulled over on the side of the road and everyone's just going to hate him on that because they're desperate for the crack.
he had even said something along the line. I hope it was him. I could be misquoting. Check your facts, Jermaine, and tell them to people. He goes, nobody really knows who I am. I mean, it's like what we all put out there. Who I am is who I am at home.
Yeah,
You know, like we
at
all
home he's
put
just
on a
smearing
different
shit on
mask.
his chest and watching Golden
He's just
Girls
one
or
of those
something.
celebrities he's one of those celebrities that
Stay out of my room, Doug.
Like that. Like he doesn't consider himself
conscious
like a rock star
subconscious
level.
from what I hear.
He just wants to be just that guy. You know what I'm saying? And plus, he's had like a hard life too, like tragic
Yeah,
life.
yeah, no,
for
absolutely.
At certain points. So
Are we talking about Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, I would start
He
wearing
just
the
tries to
headphones
be
in the room.
humble.
Now you hear my fucking Golden Girls going.
but
Sorry.
It is funny though how society sees just celebrities who they have these parasocial.
I do have one more because we're talking about.
Well, now we're friends with them because we like their comments and sometimes they like us back.
Big time
I'm
actors, but
Dating
what about
someone
Nicolas
'cause-
Cage?
I don't know if there's hype. I think everyone
knows.
approaches Nick
Yeah.
Cage works as Nick Cage.
Yeah, they
Like,
know. They're fully aware. Did you watch
It's
that
either
one?
gonna be-
Overhyped or overrated?
Neither. I think he's exactly what all of us expect from a Nick Cage performance.
Okay.
Did you watch Unbearable Weight of something immense talent or whatever? Like it was all there.
Oh yeah.
It was everything.
I
The one
so
movie that I
self-aware.
still need to watch. I hear great things, but is that Pig movie?
super good,
Dude,
super
it's a
good.
still have to go watch it.
resurgence
Yeah,
of him.
really good, really good.
Thought
I
about
think,
it earlier today.
when it comes to people like Nick Cage, where it's like you are getting a Nick Cage performance, that might not be for everybody, right? And I might sit there and say like, oh, Nick Cage, fucking love his movies, Gone in 60 Seconds, let's go, like fucking good stuff, right? But that might not be your cup of tea, right? So you would respond to that like, what the fuck, like so
I'll
that I
take
could see how
pleasure in
someone could
gutting you,
see him
boy.
as overhyped because they don't understand
Let's
like
put the bunny down.
it's like going back to the AM PM cheeseburgers, right? Like they're fucking great.
Different tastes for different
Yeah,
moods.
yeah. But the way I talk about those
just a
cheeseburgers,
guilty
someone's eventually going to
pleasure.
try one and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with Doug?"
Those fucking AMPM cheeseburgers are great.
Yeah, they're fucking great.
They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think they've gone down in quality
Nicolas
when they
Cage,
got rid of the
the
aluminum
AMC
foil and they
the
started putting in the
AMPM
plastic.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's not the same because the aluminum foil helps steam the whole experience together.
Oh God, you want to throw some shows on there real quick before we wrap it up?
I mean, I only have a couple. Fucking the biggest one on my list.
Friends.
I have it on here. I
The
didn't get it.
first season of Halo.
Oh,
Fuck you
was it
guys. None
hyped?
of you fucking. Yes, it was.
The first season.
I thought it was
oh my-
hated.
It's
It was hated.
No, the first season of Halo, it was hype before it came out, and then
Yeah.
and then it
then it
let,
came
it
out.
let you down.
Yeah.
The definition of overhype.
Yeah.
The helmet came off and the buns came
talking
out.
to me.
Sun's out, buns out with the
It
face.
wasn't even just a helmet. Like,
But
it
that
wasn't,
that thing
We're not
was
revamping past episodes for that
was
argument.
so many years in the fucking making, and it passed through so many hands, and like it finally made it to the screen, and everyone was like, "Yes, it's finally here." Fucking Halo, it's one of the greatest video franchises of all time. It's gonna be an amazing show, and it was just, I didn't even finish the first season.
Yeah.
Like I was just so disappointed. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
well, it
every-
got canceled, so.
Every video game.
Smile.
No, because it was.
I mean, video games have been around, for 40, almost 40 or 40 plus years. But like, franchises that we recognize have been around for, 4 decades now at this point. And there are things that there's always been talk about certain games being adapted. And so when as soon as there's even a word, as soon as there's like, oh, so-and-so got the rights to it, the hype just starts generating because we've been playing these games for so long and over multiple iterations of it. And I think the hype will just be unavoidable. I mean, now we've been burned so many times that like it's hard. but then now we've gotten good ones like The Last of Us, and even the Mario movie. I would
Fallout.
argue, like Fallout, The Last of Us, Mario. We've had a couple good adaptations. So now I feel like the same thing is like as soon as there's word of a game adaptation, it's like hell, here we go, and the hype's gonna go and go and go, and then they're gonna give us some mid crap that gotta appease the whole lot. How
I do feel like it's one of those things when you have a franchise like Halo, which is, generally loved like from a lot of gamers,
the dirty Xbox
decades
gamers.
of decades of these people. But
Sorry.
I absolutely smeared shit on my chest and played Xbox.
it is one of those things where I just remember watching like video game ads and commercials, and there's one ad in particular that I still kind of replayed in my head all the time, where they're kind of going like different what's the language that they
It was
English.
Swedish
No.
or
yeah, like Swedish or something like that.
the trailer for ODSTs.
Yeah,
The-
ODST.
Yeah, that was a great trailer. I'm gonna fucking watch that later.
ODST, that shit was so long ago that it holds up like Jurassic Park, like like RoboCop, like The Matrix. The way that thing was filmed, that was what I was like, holy shit! If we ever get a Halo series and it looks like this, the world's not ready for that.
Yeah.
So
And it's what, like 30 seconds?
yeah,
Some shit like
But
that. It was so fucking.
it just gets
good.
you right in the heart, and it just vibrates through, like you just feel you're like damn, this is it. But I don't know how they just can't get the recipe right. You have the story, but the studios, I feel they let people down time after time. But it's just one of those things, like they just need to get it
Because
right.
the budget that they spend on it, they have to get the broadest audience ever.
You know who would have been great directing that though?
Neil.
Gareth Edwards. Where's the fucking creator poster? Gareth Edwards.
Oh, I took that down.
Goddamn. You can tell me.
Oh yeah.
him or the dude who does
No one can see you pointing at that shit anyway.
the District 9 director? Is that
Neil
that-
Blomkamp.
Is that Blomkamp?
Yes.
him?
Either one. They treat sci-fi in like a an overuse the word grounded way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think again something I've mentioned at least a couple times would be if we really want well done shows that are going to hit the target that we want with like something like Halo. I think we're going to have to accept like lower budget character driven stuff and don't rely on the big set piece, big
Yeah.
explosion stuff, like which I know. I mean, and that's what sucks with the game
Totally.
adaptation because that's part of those games is
Yeah.
when you get to that finale and you're fighting this huge fucking thing or whatever. I feel like, especially, maybe don't do your first season like that, and then eventually, as the budget grows, as you get more of an audience,
I'm
then
fine
maybe
with that. Yeah.
drop it. Yeah, but I think I mentioned before how like Chris Pine was talking about that for Star Trek, where like maybe Star Trek movies can get back to more character driven stuff and maybe don't spend an entire budget on explosions and shit, and then that way you can target the Star Trek audience and not everybody to make up the budget.
Anybody else got any TV shows?
I got a bunch, but I don't want to like do the whole rapid fire thing. Lost was a fucking overhyped one.
I've never seen it.
Anybody else?
Not
watch it?
one episode. Not even a fucking clip.
I thought though, I mean, I didn't watch most of it.
I tried defending it too.
I mean, I think by the end it wasn't overhyped because by the end I think everyone kind of called bullshit on it. So I mean, it was certainly hyped at first because it was good and it was interesting.
Hyping it up so much they didn't know where they were going.
Well,
with
it was good and it was interesting and it was gripping and you
was.
wanted to find out what
like
was
how-
happening.
yeah.
And eventually I think people called bullshit on it, and I think the hype died with the show.
The Big Bang Theory.
Absolutely overhyped.
Oh, I enjoy it.
I think a lot of people enjoy it.
No, but he's not saying that it's bad. That's the thing. He's not saying that it's bad. He's just saying that it's that
I haven't
generally
seen a fucking
Okay.
episode.
overhyped.
Okay, I'm not accusing him of saying it's bad. I'm just saying that I enjoy it.
No,
and I don't think it's overhyped.
I absolutely understand why people enjoy it. I think it bugs me because it paints nerd culture somewhat accurately, but also somewhat very stereotypical. Very.
Making fun of me.
Well, yeah, I mean they ham it up for
Someone's got to speak up for
comedic
nerd
effect.
voices.
We
The nerd
are
population needs to be
We are
defended.
underrepresented,
fucking-
Yeah, we're
misrepresented, whatever.
underrepresented.
Let's fucking end it right there. Jesus Christ. Let's put a pin in that shit right there.
Yeah.
That's as good as place as any. Please tell us about the things you're overhyped about. Tell us how wrong we fucking are.
Yeah. And then we'll
No,
tell
we're
you how
not wrong.
fucking wrong you are.
We're not wrong.
And it'll be a conversation. Fuckers.
I got access to like 3 Instagram accounts. I'll use all 3 of them to tell you how wrong you are.
Speaking of which, you can do that. You can tell us how wrong we are on our Instagram and TikTok at the Hype Attack on Instagram and TikTok. Doug.
Yeah, I mean, we already went over it. Keep the conversation going. I mean, we'll be nice. Please comment, like, everything. Share. Please share. Just be like, hey, buddies at work, you want to listen to guys be jackasses?
It's the first 10 seconds
It's like
of a
nerd,
goddamn
nerd
warp.
shit. Yeah.
Tell everybody why I'm right about Batman Begins.
There we go.
Oh, thank you for reminding me to throw feces at you later. I almost forgot that. We ended on such a good vibe. I was feeling real positive about all of you.
Yeah.
You
Batman
fucking
Begins
reminded me.
is a masterpiece compared to The Dark Knight. No, I'm
And
kidding.
again, if you've come this far and you were only listening, well, we have full video episodes, so check that out at youtube.com/The Hype Attack Podcast. Any last thoughts, folks? Let's fucking end it. Till next time, same hype time.
Same hype
channel.
channel.
Hype attack.